The biting cold of a Nevada winter morning, January 20th, 1867, offered no comfort to Mary Jane Manuri as she made her way through the muddy streets of Virginia City. She was heading to the small cottage of her friend and neighbor Julia Bulette, a woman whose reputation was as glittering and complex as the silver being pulled from the Comstock Lode beneath their feet. Mary Jane found the back door ajar, a small detail that would soon become the first unsettling clue in a mystery that would captivate and divide the American West. Stepping inside, she called out, but only silence answered. When she entered the bedroom, the scene that greeted her was one of brutal, shocking finality. Julia Bulette, the celebrated queen of the Comstock, lay dead in her bed, her opulent world of silks and jewels violently stripped away. Remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of the Calendar of Crime. Julie Bulette, as she was originally known, was born around 1832, possibly in London, before moving with her family to New Orleans in the late 1830s. Her early life is shrouded in the kind of historical ambiguity common for women of her profession, but it is believed she began working as a prostitute in New Orleans, before following the lure of gold and silver westward. By the early 1860s, she had arrived in Virginia City, Nevada, a boomtown fueled by the discovery of the Comstock Lode, the richest silver deposit in American history. This was a place of raw wealth, danger, and a staggering imbalance of men to women, a perfect storm for a woman of Bulette's ambition and independent spirit. Unlike the women confined to the cribs on the lower, less reputable streets, Julia Bulette was an independent operator, a fancy woman who commanded high prices and chose her clientele. Her cottage on D Street was a world away from the rough-and-tumble saloons, a place of luxury and refinement. She was known for her striking beauty, her fashionable wardrobe, and most importantly, her generous heart. She was not just a figure of vice. She was a fixture of the community, a woman who transcended the rigid social boundaries of the era through sheer force of personality and genuine kindness. Julia's reputation was cemented not by her profession, but by her extraordinary civic spirit. When sickness swept through the mining camps, she was there, tending to the ill and helping to man soup lines. When fire, the constant terror of a wooden city built on a mountain, broke out, Julia was on the front lines. She was so dedicated to the cause of the city's safety that she was made an honorary member of the Virginia Fire Engine Company No. 1, the only woman to hold such a distinction. She would ride with the firemen, often in a custom-made uniform, helping to raise funds and even assisting in the dangerous work of fighting the flames. Her funeral, a year after her death, would be a testament to the respect she had earned, with thousands of mourners, including the entire fire company following her cortege. The murder of Julia Bulette on the night of the 19th of January sent a shockwave through Virginia City. It was more than just a crime. It was an assault on a beloved public figure and a symbol of the town's fragile social order. The initial investigation was hampered by the lack of immediate suspects and the fact that the killer had made off with a significant amount of her property, including a large trunk of her finest clothes, furs, and jewelry. The community, already grappling with the decline in mining production and a looming recession, demanded justice. The pressure on the Virginia City Police was immense. For months, the case remained cold, a dark cloud hanging over the Comstock. Then, in May 1867, a break came. Another independent prostitute reported a dark figure lurking in her room, and the description led authorities to a French immigrant day laborer named John Millain. Millain was soon found to be in possession of several items stolen from Julia Bulette, including a distinctive silk dress fabric and some of her jewelry. The circumstantial evidence was damning, and the town, desperate for closure, quickly coalesced around the idea that the murderer had been found. The trial of John Millain was a spectacle, a rushed affair that many historians now view with deep skepticism. It lasted only a single day, with Millain, who spoke little English and was uneducated, having virtually no defense. His court-appointed lawyer, Charles DeLong, seemed more concerned with his own political standing than with mounting a vigorous defense. The prosecution's case rested entirely on the stolen property, arguing that possession of the goods proved he was the killer. Millain, for his part, claimed he was merely a dupe, having received the trunk of valuables from two other men, Douglas and Dillon, who had since vanished, after he had fallen asleep drunk under Julia's house. Despite the lack of a direct confession or any physical evidence linking him to the act of murder, the jury returned a guilty verdict after a brief deliberation. The public rejoiced, with the bell of the Virginia Fire Engine Co. No. 1 ringing out in celebration. Judge Richard Rising, determined to impose severe punishments to deter crime in the volatile mining town, sentenced Millain to hang. The conviction was upheld on appeal, despite the defense's argument that the evidence only proved Millain was a thief, not a killer. On April 24, 1868, John Millain was executed on the gallows in front of a crowd estimated to be between 3,000 and 5,000 people. Among the witnesses was the famous former Territorial Enterprise reporter, Mark Twain, who wrote of the event. Millain went to his death with quiet composure, thanking the priest and nuns who had comforted him. In his final moments, speaking in French, he criticized the police and the prostitutes who had testified against him, but he never explicitly confessed to the murder. The lack of a confession left a lingering doubt that has persisted for over a century and a half. Was Millain truly the heartless assassin Mark Twain described, or was he, as he claimed, a convenient scapegoat, a poor, uneducated immigrant framed by the real killers who had slipped away? The doubt was compounded by subsequent, similar unsolved murders of prostitutes in California mining camps in the years following Millain's execution. The mystery of who truly killed Julia Bulette remains one of the most enduring cold cases of the American West. Julia Bulette's story is a powerful and tragic legend of the Comstock Lode. She was a woman who defied the labels placed upon her, earning the respect and affection of a rough-and-tumble community. Her life and violent death serve as a stark reminder of the brutal realities of the Old West, where a woman could be both a celebrated icon and a vulnerable victim. Her memory lives on in Virginia City, a testament to the angel of the miners, whose kindness shone brighter than the silver she came for. Thanks for watching. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe for future episodes from the Calendar of Crime.